Tonight, Duluth leaders are pitching some big projects to Minnesota's governor, and infrastructure is top of the list. Plus, how a northwest Wisconsin town is coming together to make their community safer. And grab your reusable bags. Starting tomorrow, Duluth residents will be charged a fee for plastic bags.
From CBS 3 Duluth, this is the CBS 3 News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Kristen Bakke. Thanks for joining us. Minnesota's governor kicked off a statewide tour earlier today right here in Duluth. Governor Tim Walz plans to visit communities around the state to identify projects that could use some state funding. Today's focus, the nearly 100-year-old Duluth seawall, which was a big part of the governor's 2020 bonding bill. Joining us now by the water is CBS 3's Quinn Gorham. Quinn, why is the governor's visit to Duluth highlighting the importance of his tour as a whole?
Well, Kristen, it's actually the perfect day to demonstrate this, or it was a little bit earlier when it was a little more windy and choppy out here, but you can still see the waves out here. This portion of Duluth's seawall is aging. It's over 100 years old, and in Canal Park on that other side of the port over there, that causes some issues when the waves spill over and have caused flooding in prior years. Now, the governor said in his visit today that having infrastructure in cities like Duluth, important inland ports, is crucial for the state of Minnesota. Take a look. 2018 and 2019, large waves from high winds swamped Canal Park with water from Lake Superior.
As I was pulling out, waves were crashing over my car in the parking lot.
It was a catastrophe for business owners like Emily Vikra, co-owner of Vikra's Distillery in Canal Park.
After moving back here and starting a business, we have had 3 floods that have flooded Lake Avenue, that have filled our basements with water, that have forced us to be closed.
That's why in 2020, when Governor Walz passed the largest bonding bill in state history, Duluth was one of the first priorities on his list.
And one of those projects was the Duluth seawall that you've seen completions of it. You know the importance if you live here.
Walz says the seawall is a great example of what bonding projects can do for cities across Minnesota, which is why he picked Duluth to start out his 2021 Local Jobs and Projects Tour. Mayor Emily Larson expressed her gratitude for that state funding as well.
I have always appreciated that Governor Walz and the administration and team of Walz-Flanagan really hears and prioritizes the needs of Duluth, along with the many needs across the state of Minnesota.
Just one project of many, making differences both here in Duluth and in communities across Minnesota.
And as you heard these folks say, now is the time.
Now, Duluth is just one stop that the governor plans to make on this statewide tour. He says stable infrastructure is vital to a stable community.
Quinn, did the governor mention what other projects he hopes to focus on this year?
Well, Kristen, he hasn't mentioned where he's going to be stopping on this statewide tour just yet. He'll announce that, I'm sure, in the next couple of days. But what he did say was he plans to focus on similar projects to the seawall, which boosts local and statewide economies.
All right, CBS 3's Quinn Gorham reporting live for us by the lake. Thanks, Quinn. Also today, Governor Walz briefly spoke about the state of COVID-19 in Minnesota. He called out the Republican-controlled state Senate for a lack of action on COVID prevention measures as the state continues to see some of the highest transmission rates in the country. Walz toured inside the DEC's testing center to thank frontline workers and to listen to their needs. According to the governor, he plans to announce a new push for statewide testing availability in the coming days.
We're going to massively expand our testing capacity across Minnesota. Again, we built the strongest testing system in the country. We'll reinstitute that. And we're working very
Walz also stressed the importance of getting vaccinated as the state struggles with an ICU bed shortage. Millions of dollars will be heading to several Northland community organizations. It's all thanks to Minnesota's Main Street Economic Revitalization Program. The Virginia Community Foundation will see $1.8 million, and the Duluth Local Community Initiative was awarded about $1.2 million. That money will then be distributed as grants or loans to local businesses. Deed Commissioner Steve Grove says the goal of the program is to revitalize Main Street businesses that have struggled throughout the pandemic.
This next chapter of Minnesota economy is critical. We've got to get it right for those hardest hit by COVID, and most often that is folks in communities that are underrepresented in so many ways.
This was only the first round of awards given from the $80 million program. The next round of $40 million will be awarded in March. An Iron Range native is launching his campaign for a seat in the Minnesota House of Representatives. Matt Norrie is a lifelong resident of Virginia and previous small business owner on the range. He says he's running for a spot in St. Paul to, quote, give the Iron Range its voice back. Norrie is seeking the Republican endorsement in District 6B, which includes cities such as Aurora, Virginia, Mountain Iron, and Hoyt Lakes. That area is currently represented by DFL State Representative Dave Lislegard. No word yet on if Lislegard plans to run again. Well, Dave joins us for a quick look at the weather. Dave, we have made it to Friday Eve, as we like to call Thursday, and it's not too bad of a day out there. Another kind of gloomy day to go with the theme of the week.
Oh, yeah, a little bit gloomy, but the gray sky doesn't stay forever. And these warmer than normal temperatures, you know, we are warmer than normal by at least a few degrees. It's not drastic, but it's been fairly mild. That won't last forever either. Let's start with a live look at the colors in the Twig area around Highway 53, and we can see in that part of our country we're pretty much past peak. But there are still some spots which are worth looking for here this weekend. Get out and use that new stretch of Highway 53 there, that nice new concrete stretch of road. Boy, the old grooved pavement used to make my 2000 Dodge Ram shake like it was going to go into a death wobble. Now it's smooth as silk. Well, maybe not completely smooth weather-wise tomorrow. That low to our north could still bring some showers to border country tomorrow, but otherwise it's drying up and clearing up. Tomorrow, for example, should become partly sunny for most towns. When will it become mostly sunny? I'll let you know in a few more minutes.
Thanks, Dave. The Wisconsin State Patrol is warning drivers to watch out for deer. According to the DOT, as of last week, 7 people have died and more than 300 were hurt in deer-related car crashes so far this year. A state trooper says it's important to slow down and stay alert for deer. If you see one, try to stop, but if you can't, don't swerve. He says swerving can cause a much larger crash.
Car deer crashes are very serious. They can result in obviously injury or death to motorists, and it's not a situation to be taken lightly.
Schumer says call 911 if someone is hurt in the crash. If not, alert the local sheriff's office. The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources says deer are more common this time of year as mating season is around the corner. A new study from the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety is shedding light on a key component to avoiding an accident: headlights. The study observed more than 40,000 car crashes and found vehicles with headlights that received a good rating had a 20% lower risk of being in a crash compared to cars with headlights that had a poor rating. The IIHS says high-performing headlights can help a driver identify a potential hazard in just 2 seconds, while it could take up to 6 seconds with poor lights. With these new findings, the group is asking the government to change their regulations.
The federal regulation for headlights is quite outdated, so we would like to see the federal government improve the regulation that exists right now.
29% of cars the IIHS tested received a good rating, and there was a 30% reduction in accidents where the driver was injured. A small northwest Wisconsin town is fundraising to make their corner of Sawyer County a little safer for everyone. CBS 3's Rob Coles explains the ambitious goal they're working toward.
Kristen, in Draper, Wisconsin, the population is about 200 people, but that population triples when you take into account people in the area who own cabins, and it gets even bigger when you add vacationers into the mix. Now, Draper sits on the Tuscobia Trail and is a popular destination for people who use ATVs and snowmobiles. But town leaders say a big problem is that they also sit more than 30 miles away from a well-equipped hospital. And during an emergency, the trip to save a life can be a long one. Members of the town are working together to fundraise to build a year-round emergency helipad. They want emergency health workers to be able to get injured or sick people to the hospital any time of year as quickly as possible. They've built a preliminary gravel helipad, but they're raising money to build something more substantial they can use all year long.
If we can get to that next tier of fundraising and get up to like around the 50,000 mark, we can put in PEX tubing to have radiant heat for snow melting. We can have in-ground lighting. All the lights can be tied in to one switch, from a main switch for EMS to use.
They're building the helipad right behind their fire department. Draper officials say the need for the helipad, they need it to be as automated as possible because the town has primarily a volunteer fire department, and EMS workers may be there alone. I spoke to the Sawyer County Ambulance Service, and they say they don't get a ton of calls to respond to Draper, but they say putting a helicopter down in that area can often mean landing in parking lots, baseball fields, or closing off a section of the highway.
All right, thanks, Rob. And tonight at 10, we'll tell you how close they are to meeting their goal and how you can help. Well, in Duluth, you'll have to pay to use a plastic bag at stores starting tomorrow. If you need to use a plastic bag at a grocery store or any other business, you'll have to pay a 5-cent fee per bag. City councilors originally passed that ordinance in 2019. It was supposed to go into effect last year, but it got delayed during the pandemic. The fee's goal is to reduce plastic use in the city. Still to come on Live Local CBS 3, despite high vaccination rates, COVID cases are raging in Bayfield County. We'll share the latest from the health department next.
Well, temperatures today came up to just shy of normal, at least at the airport in Duluth, 53 versus 54. Other towns were a little bit warmer than normal. That's been the trend for a while, but we could cool a little bit for the weekend before we perk back up into the 60s next work week. And on top of that, we'll talk about when these clouds go away and the sunshine returns right after our break.
Get your news on the go, the CBS 3 mobile app.
Welcome to Medical Insight, a weekly healthcare feature brought to you by the experts at Essentia Health. Over the next 2 minutes, you'll learn about blood flow restriction therapy and how it could help you. Here's your host, Louis St. George.
Today at Medical Insight, Essentia Health physical therapist Jared Eichhoff discusses blood flow restriction therapy, which stimulates muscle growth and strength gain by reducing oxygen delivery to muscle cells.
We more or less put a cuff either on the arm or the leg, and what it does is it pumps up and restricts blood to and from the limb, and you just work out with that on. We get strength benefits and muscle mass gains sooner in the rehab process with less weight. So in essence, a patient doesn't need to lift as much weight when they have the cuff on to get the same benefits as if they were lifting heavy. You can lift 40 pounds and get the same benefit as lifting 200 pounds without the cuff on.
Blood flow restriction therapy is versatile. It can be used by athletes looking to supplement their training or by post-surgical patients who want to get stronger faster while still respecting the rehab process.
We can put that cuff on and still do a really light exercise, and they're getting that much more benefit. We also see a lot of non-surgical patients as well, people who maybe have torn a rotator cuff muscle in their shoulder but don't want to have surgery. We can use this cuff and they can still lift really light weight to not stress the shoulder but get all the benefits of lifting heavy. Somebody with an ACL reconstruction, from that day that they start therapy to the day they can go back to sport, we're just shortening that time frame up significantly by using this.
For Medical Insight, I'm Louis St. George.
To learn more about the health benefits of blood flow restriction therapy and other health topics, visit essentiahealth.org/medical insight.
Injured? Call Stockman Law Office. Serious injuries including wrongful death, recreational vehicles, boats, and dog bites. Call anytime, 218-576-8599. No recovery, no fee. Stockman Law Office. Serious injuries, serious law.
When you watch CBS 3, you get up-to-date team coverage. Online, on your phone, and on the air.
6 o'clock this evening as we enter the overnight.
Right down to your neighborhood. For local weather coverage you can trust, tune to CBS 3.
Couple questions.
Do you think it's time for schools to reopen?
There is some positive breaking news.
We've got a lot of important new information for you and your family.
CBS 3 News is brought to you by Fond du Lac Casino. CBS 3 weather is brought to you by Lake Superior College. Now, the CBS 3 Duluth Weather Max forecast with meteorologist Dave Anderson.
Well, the temperature trend here for autumn so far has been towards warmer than normal for the daytime highs and the overnight lows. Not record-setting on either count, but still warmer than normal. Like this morning, low temps were in the 40s for much of the area, even 50 for Watersmeet and Ashland. But that trend should be fading away perhaps for some towns as early as tomorrow morning as we do start to slip into the 30s. And by the weekend, you know, if even lakeside communities are in the upper 30s, lower 30s more than likely for inland towns, and we may spell the end then to the growing season and the gardening season, which, at least for me, just up over the hill here in Duluth, it's still going. I've got cherry tomatoes still producing, and it'll be sad to see them go. But then again, winter's got its charms. We'll talk about what charms are ahead for the week coming up after this look at the current conditions. Right now it's 48 at Duluth Airport, 77% for relative humidity. Southwest wind, 15 miles per hour, and air pressure low at 29.8 inches of mercury. So even though the low we had yesterday didn't bring us that much in the way of rain, it's still lurking just to the north of the border and may still bring a couple of showers to some towns tomorrow. And we'll point out those towns in just a bit after we look at these current temps. We've got a lot of 51s from Watersmeet to Ironwood to Ashland up to LaPointe. 46 to 50 then for the rest of northern Wisconsin. Into Minnesota, the range in general is about 45 degrees to 50 down towards Moose Lake, but right by the lake in Grand Marais, still a reading of 54. So the warmth continues now, relatively speaking, of course, but could dial back a little bit for the weekend before another little warm surge into the 60s comes by next week. So a lot of things to point out on the 7-day forecast. Right now we'll point out the clouds around the area on the Doppler map for our area. Just a few spotty showers, especially north of the border. And that's where the interesting part of this forecast comes in then. Our low pressure system from yesterday moving to the north and to the east. But it's right near the border. So border towns tomorrow could have the clouds and a 40% chance for rain, but the rest of us will get a partly sunny sky as higher pressure tries to advance, chase away the clouds, and set us up for a sunny weekend. So, temperature trends, a little bit up, a little bit down. We'll take a look at them now with our extended forecast. And tonight in Minnesota, well, the low temps for some inland towns will already start to dip into the 30s, like the Mesabi Iron Range over towards Aiken and McGregor and up the Gunflint Trail. Otherwise, about 40 to 44 degrees. Mostly cloudy sky. That's for Minnesota. Hey, we'll share that with Wisconsin and the UP as well. And there, too, will be around 40 right by the lake. Getting just a few miles inland, we dip into the mid to upper 30s. Tomorrow in Wisconsin and Michigan, partly sunny sky. Highs from 52 to 55 are pretty close to normal. Minnesota numbers up north and away from the lake may be a little cooler than normal in the 40s. Otherwise, the rest of the towns could be in the low 50s. And most folks should be partly sunny in Minnesota tomorrow, though there's that 40% chance for showers up around the Canadian border. This extended forecast then shows, well, for Saturday we drop into the 50s, but that perk up into the 60s I talked about will be with us by Sunday, Kristen. Sunday could be one of the nicest days in October, 60 degrees and sunshine. Stays sunny through Tuesday. Then temperatures do fall back towards normal yet again by Wednesday with our next rain chance.
All right, not too shabby. We could enjoy some low 60s for a while yet.
Yeah, exactly. Ride some motorcycle, ride some bicycle, go out hiking, a little bit of leaf looking.
Plenty to do.
For the places that still have them, plenty to do as always.
Thanks, Dave.
Like work.
Yeah, always time for work. Thanks, Dave. Well, the weather's looking not so scary for Boo at the Zoo this weekend. The Lake Superior Zoo is kicking off the family-friendly event Saturday. There will be trick-or-treating stations, special Halloween-themed animal treats, food trucks, games, and more. Tickets are available online. Boo at the Zoo will also be back October 23rd and the 30th. Bayfield County's COVID case numbers continue to rise despite high vaccination rates. The health department says the county has reported 38 cases of coronavirus this week. Officials say nearly half of those cases are among fully vaccinated people. Recent fall events within the county have been linked to the uptick. That includes Applefest, Cable Fall Fest, Red Cliff Culture Days, and the Red Clay Classic. Health leaders say there has also been an increase in cases within schools and child care centers. Officials stress the number of cases doesn't mean the vaccines aren't working. They say the vaccines are helping keep those vaccinated out of hospitals. County leaders are urging everyone to get vaccinated and mask up. Alexis is here now for a look at what's going on in sports on this Friday Eve.
Yeah, you never know. Well, we got some hockey on the way with a pair of wins the NFL Sunday as well. It was a solid weekend for the Vikings and Packers fans and for Minnesota Wild fans. The excitement is boiling. The rink side action is now in an hourly countdown. Ireland Sports next.
Join us weeknights for Live at 5 as we go around the Northland city by city.
When severe weather hits, tune to CBS 3 for up-to-date coverage morning and night. CBS 3 Live Cams, brought to you by KohlerChev.com, now featuring the Kohler Express Deal online buying solution. KohlerChev.com, a better way to buy.
I'm Dr. Ben Nelson, orthopedic and sports medicine physician at Essentia Health and the medical director for the UMD Bulldogs. Essentia Health provides on-site care for UMD student athletes. We ensure they can compete at the highest level while protecting their long-term health and athletic futures. Essentia Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine team is proud to offer expert care to the UMD Bulldogs and our community.
When you have a faculty and a group of people in a school that care about me and want me to succeed in life, it really increases your self-confidence, your enthusiasm about school, and that's LSC.
Happy birthday! Duluth Casino wants to celebrate your birthday with you all month long. Every day during your birthday month, you can receive up to $30 in club cash as a special birthday bonus.
Did you say every day?
Yes, every day of your birthday month. Stop by the Players Club or log on to FondDuluthCasino.com for all the participation details. We're celebrating your birthday all month long, so you can
have a great time out at Fond-du-Loup.
One of our biggest furniture events of the year, the Labor Day sale at Slumberland. Take an additional 25% off our already low prices. We have an incredible assortment of everything for your home, from sleep to sectionals to decor.
This is totally you.
Oh. Yeah, this is the winner. Well, hello, Slumberland.
Get your look for less at the huge Labor Day sale at Slumberland.
Make the most of every property with landscaping equipment that delivers more. More productivity. More comfort. More durability. And more of what it takes to get the job done right. When your reputation is on the line, you need the Kubota landscaping lineup. Visit your local dealer today.
No one serves you better than Lulich Implement.
Kids and dogs, you gotta love them. But when in the wear is too much and it's time to replace those floors, visit Cloquet Flooring for fresh ideas.
Hello, I'm Shelley. We all know replacing flooring in your home is a sizable investment. With Mohawk's All Pet Protection and Warranty covering all pets, all accidents, all the time, we've got you covered. Contact Cloquet Flooring today to get your free in-home estimate or visit us online at cloquetflooring.com. See our virtual showroom.
Serving with hometown pride, Cloquet Flooring.
It's always a good day for a car wash at Miller Mall Car Wash. But just to be safe, watch Caitlin's Car Wash Forecast. Weekday mornings on CBS 3 This Morning with meteorologist Caitlin Moffitt. Sponsored by Miller Mall Car Wash. Only on live, local CBS 3.
The performance the Minnesota Vikings put out on Sunday was not exactly impressive. A win is a win, and hey, this time their kicker got the job done to secure a win over the Detroit Lions. Vikings stay alive, but it was courtesy to the special teams unit who came through. While the equation was simple, 54 yards plus Greg Joseph equals a win. As Vikings fans know all too well, that has not always been the answer at the end of the nail-biter.
I was just really happy for him and our players. I mean, it was a great feeling, that we were able to help our team win. But, something that was, much deserved for our players because they fought hard to win that game. And it was great just to see, that they found a way to win at the end.
Vikings take a business trip to the home of the 3-2 Carolina Panthers on Sunday. Kickoff is at noon. While the Packers are 4-1, but not all of the games have been pretty. They've outscored all of their opponents since week 1, but the defense has been doing a lot of bending and breaking. Teams that have driven into the red zone on Green Bay's defense have scored 16 straight touchdowns. No field goals, no turnovers, and that is the longest such active streak in the NFL.
It really comes down to making sure that everybody is doing their job. I've got no issue with what we called down there, but we didn't execute. And you can't have 9 guys doing their job. If 2 guys aren't doing their job, then it's going to be tough to stop anybody. So we need all 11 on the same page and make sure that communication's on point, and then we got to go out there and execute.
Packers travel to my hometown in the Windy City of Chicago to take on the Bears this Sunday. The good news for Green Bay, the Bears offense only ranks 30th of 32 teams in the league. The NHL season has been off and running for 2 days now, but the Wild don't play until tomorrow night. After their trip to Duluth earlier this week, Minnesota traveled to California today in preparation for their matchup with the Anaheim Ducks tomorrow night. They focused on their power play in camp, which started on a historically rocky pace last season. 0 for their first 16 chances with the man advantage.
That's certainly one area, a major area that we can improve on. We've made some tweaks on it. Personnel-wise, we've done, there's a couple of different wrinkles as far as structurally. So, yeah, we need it to get off to a good start for sure.
Puck drop between the Wild and the Ducks is at 9 o'clock tomorrow night. Kristen, you would like to know, they were in Duluth for a team bonding trip. Yes. Up the North Shore in a resort. They went in a sauna and then decided to jump in Superior.
I mean, if you're going to jump in Lake Superior, you got to get a sauna near you because otherwise, brutal.
Yes, hopefully much-needed R&R brings them some wins to come.
Yeah, we hope so. Thanks, Alexis. Tonight on the CBS 3 News at 10, more than 2 years ago, a group of parents filed a lawsuit against Duluth Edison charter schools, alleging their children of color faced racial discrimination from students and staff. Now, the charter school is asking the courts to dismiss the case. Tonight, CBS 3's Natalie Grant digs deeper into the ongoing litigations and shares what comes next in the case. Well, before we go, a big thank you to share during this National ER Nurses Week. Memorial Medical Center in Ashland shared this photo of their nurses today, thanking them for their incredibly hard work. The Emergency Nurses Association recently chose grit as their word of the year. Very appropriate, I would say. Memorial Medical spokespeople say that's something their nurses embody every day, all through the hard work, hard days, and hard challenges they face. And from all of us here at CBS 3, thank you to all the nurses and EMS and medical staff. We sure do appreciate you. And Dave, we appreciate a decent evening too. Is that what we're going to get?
Boy, I think we're going to get it. The sky above will be on the gray side, yes, but it's also going to be dark, so we won't be able to tell. Then it starts to get a little bit sunnier through the weekend.
All right, thanks for joining us. We'll see you at 10 o'clock.